Well, today's the last day of summer. Tomorrow will be starting fall, so I'm going to make a fall video. I'll probably do one for each season because each season has variability to it that can trigger responses. The fall season, it's for people who go back to school, whether it's a teacher or a student, for parents of kids who went back to school. The days are getting shorter, the routines are changing the evening, it's television premieres, you're starting to watch shows that you watched in the past, always with a smoker. All these activities were done as a smoker. Watching football, going to your first maybe football game, an outdoor evening game, which has a totally different flavor of summer activities that you may have gone to. Even though they may have been sporting events, they feel different. The change of clothing that occurs on seasons. You may pull out clothes where you find old packs of cigarettes, but even if you don't, you still, every time you had those clothes on, some of them may even still smell of smoke or of fresh tobacco that was in the pocket. These are all things that can trigger responses because all the other years you faced those same circumstances, you were a smoker. And you would get to certain points while doing these routines. Again, classic ones would be like mowing the lawn and then raking leaves. Hey, that activity takes 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. You had built-in breaks to go smoke because of the length that those activities lasted. Those time periods, when you now get to that exact point in the lawn where you would have your smoking break, will trigger the response for a cigarette. It's important to recognize that these things are going to occur. Other unique things about the season, it's a cold and flu season, or people who have allergies may be starting to suffer certain allergy experiences that every other time they felt this way, they were smoking. And maybe they started to feel really good for the last few weeks or the last couple of months where they weren't having any symptoms, and all of a sudden, symptoms come back again. Allergy kind of symptoms can appear, or if you get a cold or a flu. And you don't know how to, in a sense, get sick without a cigarette, or get well without a cigarette. These are things that just pop up over time now. So be prepared. You're going to face situations where thoughts for cigarettes may become a little more prevalent than they were before when you face these new triggers. But you get through these triggers the way you get through the original triggers, where, again, the first 3 days, everything you did was triggering. It was all new. It was on top of drug withdrawal, and you got through all that. That shows how powerful you are of getting through these time periods. You got through much worse times before, much more frequent and much more intense because they were physical as well as psychological triggers. Now you're facing the psychological triggers. They may occur. Just be prepared when they do. Understand why the thought is being triggered. Write out the time period, and next time you face that same trigger, it won't be as powerful. 2 or 3 times after the trigger, you won't even think about it anymore. Not smoking will become the pattern. When the season changes again, when we go into winter, yes, a whole new slew of routines can change, and clothing can change, and finding cigarettes again may occur, or getting to breaks where you would shovel and now be at the spot where you would light up a cigarette. Those will trigger. You'll deal with those at that time, though. Your goal right now is to get through today's triggers. It's really a day at a time, facing new experiences with just working with the basis that as much as you want one at certain points, you don't want the other ones that go with it and the problems that go with the others. The way to keep this quit going during seasonal changes is, again, it's just by sticking to the commitment that you hopefully made the day you stopped to never take another puff.